The forest had never been kind to outsiders. Even the seasoned hunters of Grey Ridge avoided its deeper stretches, where the trees grew too tall, their canopies choking the light, and the air hummed with sounds no one could name. Ethan Cole only entered it because his tracking drone had gone down, and he couldn't afford to lose it. He was a survival contractor, not a hero, someone who fixed problems for colonies too far from help. That was when he heard the sound that changed everything. It wasn't the cry of an animal. It was softer, broken, almost human. Ethan pushed aside a curtain of thorned vines and froze. She lay at the base of a massive ironbark tree, half hidden beneath glowing moss. She looked young, no older than 20 by human standards, with pale silver skin and long dark hair tangled with leaves. One leg was bent at an unnatural angle, faint blue blood staining the forest floor. Small, faintly luminous markings pulsed along her neck and arms, reacting weakly to her shallow breaths. An alien. Injured. Alone. Ethan's first instinct was to back away. The Concord's laws were clear. Do not interfere with uncontacted species without authorization. But then her eyes fluttered open, large, iridescent, and filled with fear. She tried to speak, but only a rasp came out. Easy, Ethan said quietly, raising his hands. I'm not going to hurt you. He didn't know if she understood the words, but the tone seemed to calm her. She stopped struggling, her gaze locking onto his face, as if memorizing it. Ethan knelt and ran his scanner over her. Multiple fractures. Severe energy burns. Life signs unstable. If I leave you here, you'll die, he muttered. So he broke protocol. He carried her to his cabin at the edge of the ridge, a simple structure meant for one man and a dog, not a wounded alien. He stabilized her leg, treated the burns, and hooked her up to a translator mesh. For 2 days, she drifted in and out of consciousness while Ethan worked, slept in shifts, and told himself he was doing the right thing. On the 3rd day, she woke fully. Her eyes focused. She looked around the cabin, alert now, calculating. Then she sat up, too fast, and winced. Please don't do that, Ethan said. You're not healed. She studied him for a long moment before speaking. The translator hummed softly. You are human, she said.
Yeah.
You are definitely not. A faint smile touched her lips. My name is Lyriath, she said, and I believe I owe you my life. Ethan shrugged. Just did what anyone decent would. Her expression shifted, something like sadness, mixed with awe. Among my people, she said slowly, no one would risk themselves for a fallen stranger. That should have been his first warning. Over the next few days, Lyriath healed faster than expected. She learned human customs quickly, asked endless questions about Earth colonies, and listened intently when Ethan spoke of his work. She laughed easily, but there was something guarded beneath it, a weight she never explained. Ethan noticed other things too. The way she carried herself, even injured, upright, composed. The way the forest seemed quieter when she stepped outside. The way his instruments glitched when she grew emotional. One night, while a storm rattled the cabin walls, Ethan finally asked, What happened to you out there? Lyriatha's hands tightened around her cup.
I was fleeing, she said.
My ship was attacked. I escaped, but not far enough. By who? She met his eyes. My own people. The cabin felt suddenly smaller. I am not merely one of them, she continued. I am their sovereign. Ethan blinked. You're the queen. Yes. He stared at her, then laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. You're telling me I dragged an alien queen out of the forest and patched her up with duct tape and med gel? She nodded solemnly. Your methods were crude, but effective. Why would your people try to kill you? Lirith looked away. Because I refused to be what they wanted me to be. They came at dawn. Ethan was outside calibrating his sensors when the sky tore open with light. 3 sleek alien craft descended silently, hovering just above the tree. Armed figures poured out, weapons humming with restrained power. Lirith stepped out beside him. "They've found me," she said calmly. Ethan's heart pounded. "You have any idea how badly outgunned we are?" "Yes." "And you're not panicking?" She looked at him, truly looked at him. "Because you are here." The lead alien shouted a command in a sharp, metallic language. Lirith straightened, her markings blazing bright. "I am Lirith of House Viral," she called out, her voice amplified without technology. "By ancient law, I claim sanctuary under the protection of this human." The soldiers hesitated. Ethan whispered, "You could have mentioned that earlier." She smiled faintly. "You would not have helped me if you knew." The commander sneered. "Human laws mean nothing to us." Ethan stepped forward anyway. "She's under my protection," he said, lifting his rifle, not to aim, but to make a point. "You want her, you go through me." The alien commander laughed. Then the forest answered. The ground trembled. Roots surged upward like living walls. The trees bent inward, forming a barrier. The soldiers stumbled, weapons failing as the air crackled with energy. Lirith raised her hand. "I did not wish for bloodshed," she said.
"Leave. Now."
The ships retreated. Silence returned. Ethan stared at her. "You could have done that the whole time?" "I was weak," she said softly, "and afraid. You gave me the strength to stand again." Days later, a diplomatic vessel arrived, this time peaceful. Lirith stood at the ramp, restored, radiant in ceremonial armor that had formed itself around her. "I must return," she said. Ethan nodded. "Figures." She hesitated. "My people will remember what you did."
"So will I."
She placed a small crystal in his hand. "A beacon," she said. "If you ever need us, or me." He swallowed. "Try not to get stabbed next time." She laughed, then grew serious. "You showed me something my empire has forgotten," Lirith said. "That strength does not come from ruling others, but from choosing compassion." The ship lifted into the sky and vanished among the clouds. Ethan stood alone at the edge of the forest, beacon warm in his palm. Somewhere out there, a queen ruled among the stars. And she owed a human her life. Ethan thought that would be the end of it. Weeks passed. The forest returned to its usual quiet menace, and life settled back into routine. He repaired his drone, finished his contract, and filed a heavily sanitized report to the Concord. Unknown alien presence. No survivors detected. Lies but necessary ones. Still, at night, he would find himself staring at the stars, rolling the crystal beacon between his fingers. Sometimes it pulsed faintly, warm as a heartbeat. Sometimes it stayed dark. He told himself it didn't matter. Then the Concord alarm screamed. Every channel lit up at once. Emergency broadcasts, military frequencies, civilian warnings bleeding into one another. An alien armada had appeared at the edge of human-controlled space. Massive,
Organized.
and stopping short of aggression. They were asking for one thing: a human named Ethan Cole. By the time Concord officials reached his cabin, he already knew. The beacon in his hand was glowing like a captured star. They escorted him, politely, nervously, to a diplomatic station in orbit. No chains. No threats. Just fear thinly disguised as protocol. The chamber doors opened. Lirith stood at the center, crowned in living light, surrounded by beings who radiated power and age. Queens, generals, scholars, an empire made flesh. Every alien eye turned toward Ethan. She stepped forward. "This is the human," she said, her voice carrying effortlessly. "The one who saved me when I was nothing. The one who asked for no reward." The chamber fell silent. "By the laws of my people," Lirith continued, "a life saved freely creates a bond beyond blood, beyond species." She turned to Ethan, her gaze softening. "You found me broken and alone," she said. "You treated me not as a ruler, not as a weapon, but as a person." She raised her hand. "Therefore, hear this. From this day forward, humanity is under my protection. Any world they claim, any voice they raise, will be heard as my own." Gasps rippled through the chamber. "This alliance stands not because of power," Lirith finished, "but because one human chose compassion over fear." She bowed, a queen bowing to a man from a forest cabin. Later, as the station buzzed with celebration and disbelief, Ethan stood by a viewport, watching stars drift past. Lirith joined him. "You changed the fate of two species," she said quietly. Ethan exhaled. "I just didn't want someone to die alone." She smiled, truly smiled. "And that," she said, "is why your people will endure." Far below, the forest of Grey Ridge swayed gently, unaware that it had been the birthplace of an alliance that would echo across the galaxy. Because sometimes, the greatest empires begin not with conquest, but with a single human choosing to help an injured girl in the woods.